Have you ever had a friend that always wanted what you had? If you had a different snack, then she wanted your snack instead of hers. If you had some new shoes, then he wanted them, too? They always seem to want what you have. Always? Or maybe it is a brother or sister who wants what you have. Your video game, your basketball, your makeup. Whatever it is that you have, they want. This Better with Bacon video is from the Surprise series. It is about Isaac and how people kept wanting what he had. Make sure you check out our other YouTube videos about surprises in this series from Better with Bacon. If you like our video, then click like. A long time ago, there lived a man whose name was Isaac. Isaac was a friendly man and always tried to do and say the right thing. He liked to share. Isaac was a nomad, which was common a long time ago. A nomad was a person who moved around a lot. They really did not have a place they called home. They moved wherever there was food and water, where there was peace because people were not fighting. Some places would welcome them. Some places would not. Isaac was married to Rebecca. They had a family. Isaac and Rebecca also had many goats, sheep, and camels. Isaac was a faithful person. He believed in God. He trusted God and the commands and promises of God. Isaac regularly made sacrifices to God to show his faith in God. A severe drought came to the land where Isaac and his family. A drought is when it does not rain for a long time. People did not have enough water for their crops to grow. There was not enough water for their animals to drink. Isaac knew then it was time for him and his family to leave. He thought about moving to Egypt, because there was enough rain for the crops and water for their animals to drink in Egypt. However, before they left, God told Isaac not to move to Egypt. God said for him to stay in Israel. Isaac was confused. But he trusted God. So, he and his family didn't leave Israel, even though there was a severe drought there. They stayed like God said to, but they didn't know why. At least, not yet. Isaac stayed in Israel as God told him to. He moved his family and animals close to where he grew up as a child. When they got to the place, Isaac noticed an old well there. He remembered the well. It was a well that his father, Abraham, had built many years before when Isaac was just a child. Excited to see the well, Isaac ran to it. Maybe there would be water still in the well that had been dug many years before by his father. But when Isaac got to the well, he noticed the well was only full of dirt now. No water? However, Isaac knew there had been water in this well before, so he began to rebuild it. He dug away the dirt and rocks that filled the well. He kept digging, and sure enough, there was water in the well. It was hard, hot work, but they did it. They now had precious water for them and their animals. That also meant they now had water for their crops. Even though there was a drought, Isaac and his family and workers had enough water to grow crops because of the well. It didn't take long for Isaac's neighbors to notice that he had water. He had water for his crops and livestock, and they didn't. They were jealous of Isaac. They wanted his water well. They also wanted his land and animals. Everyone was jealous of Isaac and his water well. Even the king of Israel became jealous of all that Isaac had. Isaac knew then it was time for him and his family to leave because it was not safe for them there. Isaac decided to stay in Israel, as God told him to. But this time he would move to a valley near the desert. There were very few people there because it was the desert. Surely, no one would bother him there, he thought. Surely, no one would become jealous of him and make him move again. So, once again Isaac moved his family, and their animals and workers, to the desert. When they arrived in the desert valley, Isaac started digging a hole where he thought there might be an underground water spring. He kept digging and digging. Finally, one of his workers hit water. Isaac and his wife Rebecca and everyone else were happy. Very happy. They had water. Water, even though they were now in a dry valley of a desert. Isaac and Rebecca named the well Rehoboth, which meant open spaces, in Hebrew, the language they spoke. Everyone was happy. Isaac didn't have to worry about his family's safety. There was no more jealousy or fighting. Isaac would not have to move again. They would be left alone in peace. No, that would be a surprise. Not surprisingly, as soon as Isaac found water again, the people around him wanted the water for themselves. They became jealous of Isaac's well. Again? They started to fight with Isaac's workers. Again? They claimed the water well actually belonged to them. They said it was theirs first. Again, Isaac was sad. All he wanted was to live in peace and to worship God. He didn't want all the fighting or jealousy. God would keep blessing Isaac because of his faith, but people would become jealous of his blessings. Just when Isaac thought it could not get any worse, the king of Israel unexpectedly came to Isaac's home. The king of Israel. Surely, he wanted Isaac's well, too, Isaac thought. Maybe he would even take his land, his animals, and his crops. Surprise!
What?
The king said he knew that God was with Isaac. The king said he knew the Lord kept blessing him wherever he went. He said that it had to be God who kept protecting. It had to be God providing Isaac and his family by helping him find water, no matter where they moved. The king of Israel said that they would not allow anybody else to bother Isaac. The king would not allow anyone else claim that Isaac's well was really theirs. Isaac was happy. Isaac knew God was why he was finally being able to find peace and safety. He knew that God had blessed him and was continuing to bless him. Isaac offered a sacrifice to thank God. This Batter with Bacon video is from the Surprise series. It is the story from the Bible about Isaac and his wells from the book of Genesis in the Old Testament. Make sure you check out the other YouTube videos about surprises in this series. Did you like this video? Then click like.